You know when you look at a math problem and it's just packed with different symbols and letters and you kind of feel a little lost? It can definitely seem like a puzzle with way too many pieces. But what if I told you there's a universal key that unlocks pretty much any expression, giving you a simple, clear answer every single time?
Okay, let's take this expression right here. We need to figure out q divided by whatever r times s is, and then from that, we subtract whatever r times p is. Phew! With all those variables, parentheses, and different operations, it really does look like a lot to handle. This is the puzzle we're going to solve together today. Look, the key here isn't to just memorize the answer to this one problem. That's not the point. It's about understanding a universal set of rules. Think of it like an instruction manual for math that lets you solve any similar problem correctly, every single time.
So before we can solve anything, we need to know what we're working with, right? The very first step in any puzzle is to just lay out all your pieces on the table. For us, that means figuring out all the known values we've been given.
So, here are the pieces to our puzzle. We're told that q is 56, r is -4, s is 2, and p is 1. We're going to be swapping these numbers into our expression as we go along. And now for the secret key I was talking about. This is the instruction manual that unlocks the entire problem. This is the part that makes sure math works the same for absolutely everyone, everywhere. It's called the order of operations. And really, it's just a simple agreement that people all over the world have made that says, hey, we're all going to solve problems in this exact order. This prevents any confusion, and it guarantees that we all get to the same correct answer from the same starting point. And here is that roadmap. You've probably heard of it as PEMDAS. It's super straightforward. We always start with anything inside parentheses. Then we take care of any exponents. After that, we do multiplication and division. Now, these two are a team, so we just work from left to right. And finally, addition and subtraction. Same deal, we just move from left to right. This is the exact path we're going to follow. Okay, let's dive in. We have our values, we have our rule book. It is time to start solving. Rule number 1 in PEMDAS is P for parentheses, so that is exactly where we'll begin.
So, following our rules, the first thing we have to do is what's inside the parentheses. Let's tackle that first one, r times s.
We just plug in the numbers we know. That makes it -4 times 2.
And that gives us -8. Boom! First piece of the puzzle is solved.
See, now we can simplify our original equation. We can replace that whole r times s part with the number we just found, -8. So the first chunk of our problem is now just q divided by -8.
And we know that q is 56, so that becomes 56 divided by -8,
which gives us -7. Nice work. We've already solved the entire first half of the expression.
All right, let's keep the momentum going. We still have to follow that parentheses rule, so let's tackle the second set, r multiplied by p. And again, we just plug in the numbers. R is -4 and p is 1. So we've got -4 times 1.
And that gives us -4. And just like that, all the work inside the parentheses is officially done.
We followed the rules, we've broken the problem down into these easy, manageable chunks, and now it's time to put all the pieces together for our final answer. Just look at how simple our problem has become. What started out looking super complicated has been boiled down to this. The first half is -7, and the second half is -4. So the whole problem is now just -7 minus -4. Okay, so here's a crucial point where people sometimes get tripped up. What do we do with these two negative signs right next to each other? Well, there's a fundamental rule in math that you got to remember. Subtracting a negative number is the exact same thing as adding its positive version. So when we apply that rule, our expression changes one last time. That minus -4 actually becomes +4. So now we have -7 plus 4, a much easier problem to solve. And that gives us our final answer. -7 plus 4 equals -3. That's it. We followed the universal rulebook, step by step, and we solved the puzzle. So yeah, the answer is -3. But before we wrap up, let's just step back and think about why this whole process, the order of operations, is so important. It's not just about getting the right answer in math class. Seriously, think about it for a second. From building furniture using instructions to writing computer code, or even just following a recipe to bake a cake, the principle is exactly the same. Following a specific, agreed-upon order of steps leads to a predictable, reliable, and successful result. The order of operations is just one of those systems. So, the question I'll leave you with is this: what other hidden rulebooks are out there, shaping the world all around you?